Hello. So I decided to do an impromptu mobility workout video. I haven't done one in a while, and I thought maybe just a quick 20-30 minute mobility video so we can work on our range of motion in our shoulders, hips, ankles, wrists, a little bit of neck in there. Just follow along with me. Only thing you're gonna need, if you have a broomstick at home, hit pause, grab a broomstick or a stick. I'm actually gonna grab PVC pipe that I have. I've got all these over here. I'm gonna grab one. They're real useful. Obviously, if you have one of these at home, go for it. But if you don't, like I said, broomstick. Real quick, little construction going on. I will be doing an update video soon on the latest in the gym. But for today, we're gonna focus on this mobility. So I think we'll just take 20-30 minutes. So yeah, if you have one of these, awesome. If you have a broomstick at home, grab that, or a mop or something like that. We're gonna do a couple things with it. So pause your video, get that. Only other thing you might need is yoga mat or soft surface on the floor, because we're gonna do some things down on the ground. All right, let's get started. Okay, like I said, we're gonna use this for a couple things. First thing we're gonna do with it is something called pass-throughs. So it's pretty much an everyday thing for me, is to get my shoulders in line and feeling really good and taking them through their full range of motion. Really quick, let's just loop back and talk what is mobility, right? When I say mobility, people think stretching and people think yoga. It's definitely not that. Those both have amazing benefits, of course. Yoga is more of a lengthening of the muscle, stretching. Mobility is taking our joint, so say the shoulder joint, through its full range of motion, which is what we're gonna do with this PVC pipe in a minute here. So if I was to stretch that muscle, I would hold it, which is amazing as well. The mobility, taking it through the whole joint, is useful because when we go to lift weights or do anything in life, it's great to be able to grab something from behind without straining your body, or have good mobility in your hips for squatting, things like that. Good mobility in the neck, all these kinds of things. So the society that we live in now, we're very on the computers all the time, on our phones and stuff like that. So we're forward shoulders quite a bit. Shoulders are up, a lot of neck pain, a lot of shoulder pain, things like that. So for instance, if I was to shrug my shoulders up like this and try to raise my arms, I kind of stop right about there. But if I pull my shoulders back and down and then raise my arms up, great range of motion there. So it's opening up tissues, it's taking the body through all those ranges. So that's kind of just in a nutshell, a little bit of the purpose of mobility. It's something that you can do for 5 minutes a day, a couple times a day, before a workout, after a workout, a break during work, that kind of thing. It's not something that you need to dedicate hours to every single day, but a little bit here and there is going to pay off huge. All right, grabbing this PVC pipe, I'm going to grab it by the very ends of it. I'm going to pull the ends, and I'm going to do what's called pass-throughs, bringing this PVC pipe all the way through. So the goal would be to bring it all the way to my lower back, kind of touches my butt there, while pulling through. Now, 99% of people are going to try to bring it up, and there's going to be a lot of bending in your arms and maybe some compensating in the lower back. You need to, if you have access to a mirror, that's great, because then you can see what's going on. But you can kind of feel when you're maybe starting to fall apart, and that's where you stop today. And then you work on it, and then you get better at it. So all we're going to do is just do about maybe 8 to 10 of these. Just keep going through here, practice it. If you have a belt would also work really good. There's a lot of things that you can use to make this happen. So I'm just being really conscious of what's going on right now in my shoulders. So like I said, this is definitely an everyday thing for me. And I said to pull the ends of it because that's gonna also kind of start to open up the tissues in my forearms, through the elbows, just like that. Let me get one more. Okay. Move this. I have my camera on a tripod on a little box here. Make sure you can see me good. Okay, taking your, whatever you're working with, it's gonna go behind the neck, and then we're gonna bring it over, to the front, up and over. That's all we're doing, up and over. At this point, you're a little bit more warmed up in those shoulders, so this shouldn't feel horrible, but it is an amazing way, like I said, to pull those shoulders back and open up those shoulders. Of course, we're trying to not lean back. Just make those shoulders do the work. Forward. So, again, it's like, can you count reps? Sure. Can you do it for time? Sure. Go by feel. Go by what feels good for you. Maybe you've just been sitting at the computer for an hour working or taking calls for work. And maybe you want to take a nice 5-minute mobility break and you want to do each of these moves for 40 seconds, a minute. You know, great, perfect. Oftentimes we get really wrapped up in reps and all that kind of stuff. Do what works for you. All right, last one, we're gonna hold it right on that upper back. So I'm kind of digging in here. It's not hanging out on my neck. It's right on this meaty part of my upper back. And we're gonna just do a little bit of like a turn to the side. Feel that in your lower back. While simultaneously we got that chest pulling open. Just a couple of twists to the side. You can easily do this sitting as well. You can do pretty much everything we've done so far sitting. Breathing. Oftentimes we forget to breathe, but when we're breathing, that's giving our body another signal to kind of like, it's okay, do your thing. Ugh. We're gonna hit one more on each side. So I'm gonna run through a couple of things today, and we're gonna kind of like, just give you a little bit of a sample of many things. Next thing we're gonna do is just tip it to the side. So when I tip it to the side, it starts opening up a little bit more tissue in that lower back, rib cage. Whole time the PVC pipe is on my upper back, and if you're starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable with that, that's a good sign that it's something you need to do a little bit more. It's a good sign that your shoulders probably spend a lot of time forward. Take your time here. Feel it out. The goal being each time you go into the movement again, maybe you get a little bit more range of motion. So I'm trying to actively kick this hip out as well, so I can start to feel a little bit into that glute too. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of these movements you can play around with and make them your own. Okay, let's get this off our back. So best way to get it off your back would be to either come up and forward again, or just simply take one hand off and let it safely come forward, just like that. All right, we're gonna go down on the ground. Keep it this. I wanna make sure you can see me okay. All right, we're gonna come down onto one knee. I'm gonna come down on my left knee, so I have my right knee up in this split stance. I've got the PVC pipe in my left hand. I'm gonna shift my hips forward and back. And I'm just using this as like a little bit of stabilization. So when I come forward, my entire foot is flat on the floor. I'm not letting my heel come up because I want to start to get through some of that ankle and calf, Achilles tendon area. And I'm just using this, like I said, as support. You can kind of push it forward, or you can do away with it altogether. It doesn't matter. This is a great standalone without any support. We're just gonna go back and forth so I can fully extend that there if I want to. Come forward. We got one more here. And then the only thing we're gonna change about this is we're gonna bring it to the corner. Go right to the corner here. Still using my stick for support. So this is one of my very favorite hip openers. Do these just like the pass-throughs, pretty much daily. And then we're gonna take it off to the side so it kind of have like a 90-degree angle. This one might be my favorite. Also, while wherever you land in these, you can play around there too. You can go a little bit of side to side before you come back. There's no wrong way. Whatever you're doing is great. And like I said, spend as much time as you want in each of these. All right, I'm gonna switch legs just to give you a brief overview of each of these. And also, so I'm getting a lot out of this because this side of my body, that hip is opening up. This quadricep is kind of dragging along, which is feeling good because I did a leg workout yesterday, so this feels awesome right now. Get one more, and then I'm gonna go out to that corner. So I don't have any shoes on right now, and I find that if I'm doing specifically on the ground with ankles and hips and stuff like that, it's just easier for me to ditch my shoes off. They get a little bit clunky and they get in the way. So give that a go. Okay, let's bring it over to this. All right, I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna show you from the side what we're gonna do next. Basically, I'm gonna go on my hands and I'm gonna be on my knees, so like all fours basically, just like this. And I'm gonna sway side to side. Just a nice little sway. The edge of my hand kind of comes up a little bit. And you can start to play around with this as you go. Maybe get a little bit deeper into that movement. Start to extend that arm a little bit. Something like this. Just a little bit more each time. We do little circles here. So all I'm gonna do is shift back, circle through. I'm gonna stay in the same direction for a couple. So I have my hands apart on the ground. I'm sort of gripping the ground with my fingertips because I don't want to put a ton of pressure on my wrists. I find that's pretty common when people do a lot of groundwork, push-ups, all this kind of stuff. Wrists take a beating. So grip that ground with your fingertips. That's going to keep the pressure off of the wrists. Give them a little bit of a break. Go ahead and switch directions. Go this way. You can make big circles, you can make little circles, it's all good. One more here. Okay. I'm going to take this right hand and I'm going to simply slide it through, okay? As I slide through, I'm going to shift my hips back. So I'll show you what it looks like. We're going to slide through, shift back. Eventually, I'd like to get this shoulder, a little bit of the upper back down on the ground. Mostly just the shoulder. About 2 seconds there, kind of check in, see where you're at. Slide it through. So I'm gonna come all the way up like this. So the goal would be this. And hey, maybe you come through for the first time and you're like, ooh, I'm stuck there. That's fine. Go through again. I guarantee when you come back again, you're probably gonna get a little bit more out of it. So we have a lot going on here in the upper back, which is great. Let's try a couple. We're just gonna do maybe 5 or 6 on each side. Just give it a go. See where you're at. Shift those hips back as you come down. Don't rush it. Oftentimes we're in a hurry to just bang through these things. Always breathing. All right. I'm never afraid to do a little bit of range of motion up here too. That's all good. Okay, give it a go on the other side. So I'm gonna loop my left hand through. We're gonna work on that same thing. I already know that this one for me is always a little bit more restricted. Oh, not too bad today. I've been doing these a lot lately, so I think that's really to my benefit. So in yoga, this stretch would be called thread the needle. So thread the needle and then come all the way through, open up there. One more. Nice, nice. All right, I got one for the hips. Same thing here. We're gonna be in this, hands are right under my shoulders, and I'm gonna start with my right leg. I'm gonna bring my right leg up at a 90-degree angle. So it's bent, and it instantly kind of kicks in the glute and the hamstring, get a little blood in there, and I'm gonna open up basically and tip over to the side, and I look in that direction as well. So what's happening is all through that hip, a little bit of core action in there, open up all those muscles, and just hang out there for about 2 seconds, see how that feels, come right back down. We're just gonna do a couple of these. 90-degree angle, tip it over. So you do obviously have to have a little control in your body so you don't completely tip your whole entire body over. We're just looking for that hip to open up. Take your time and stay here for a couple. So again, if you've been sitting for a while, or you're just about to do a workout, this is a fantastic one, or just any old time. All right, let's see how it feels on the other side. So you're gonna bring it up, 90-degree angle, and then open up, look through it there, right back down. It's always tricky too, anytime you're removing one limb from the ground. I know there's some instability there. I'm gonna get one more. Ooh, yeah. All right, let's work on some 90-90s. So once again, we've got a little bit of a hip theme going on. Second thing in a row that we're working on with hips. Go ahead and sit like this. So, my feet are shoulder width, maybe a little bit wider, that's fine. What I'm gonna do is post up my hands right behind me for support. And I'm just gonna gently, basically lay my knees down on the ground. So what we're looking to get into is right here is a 90-degree angle, and right back here is a 90-degree angle. So maybe just adjust yourself. Now, there's a number of things that we can do here. Today, all we're gonna focus on is just a little bit of back and forth with the hips, but there's different things you can add to with your arms and exploring different things, but you can do that on your own. Today, we're just gonna do a little bit of back and forth. So here I am in my 90-90 on this side. Hips are opening up. Feels really good to kind of sit in here. You can also hold it as a static stretch, of course. I'm gonna post up my hands behind me, and I'm gonna bring to the other side. So just like that. And you might have to adjust it a little bit. You might not lay down exactly 90. Kind of adjust it. Check in. Ooh, for me right now, this side, heck of a lot tighter for sure. We're gonna do a couple back and forth. Almost think of this as you're kind of greasing up the wheels here. So it might feel a little bit restricted at first, but as we go, you get warmer, you get looser. Already a little bit better here. When you get really good at them, you can go without hands. That might not be for today for everyone, but come back to this video, you know, and practice these things over and over again. Use them. Yeah. So once you do a couple on each side, you should start to really feel pretty decent with it. Just keeping those feet rooted into the ground. I'm gonna do one more on each side, even though I feel like I could do these all day. Nice. Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna get into the ankles just a little bit. So sitting like this, straight ahead, I'm gonna point my toes hard, hard, hard down at the ground. Just really opening up tissues all through the top. Woo, yeah. And then I'm gonna bring it back, pull those toes into my chest, pointing towards my chest. It's that other side, calf. I can even feel it up a little bit into my hamstrings. We're gonna do a couple of these. This is all we're gonna do, back and forth, back and forth. Woo. And then in. So it really starts to light up some of those tissue all around the ankles, which for sure do not get enough love. Very often we are focused on larger things, just like the wrists don't get enough love. But if you think about it, bring it in towards the chest here, it all starts with our feet. So if you're having issues with knees or hips, try to look a little bit deeper into your feet, your ankles, the stability there, strength there, tons of things you can do. So often we like to say, oh, I'm overweight, if I lose weight, you know, it'll be better on my knees. And yeah, that's true to a certain extent. Or people with just, oh, I have bad knees, I have bad hips. And it's like, maybe have you addressed things below that or above that, you know? So the body wants to work for us. All right, let's do one more hard down, and then one more up. So you can go side to side with this, same thing. I could go out to the side and hold for about 2 seconds. I can come in, hold for, you know, there's so many cool things you can do here. Okay, let's sit like this. We're gonna do a little bit of wrist action. Let me get a little bit closer. So I'm gonna take my left wrist. I'm just gonna kind of grab the little bones around the wrist. Get a nice little grip on that. Making a fist. And then I'm gonna bring my hand down. Fist down. Feeling it all through here. Open up the hand. A couple of these. We'll do fist, down. Open up the fingers as wide as you can. Fist, down. We'll do one more. It's tight. So we spend a lot of time in wrist extension like this, but not a lot of time in flexion. So if you're typing a lot or you're on your phone a lot, this gets real tight. All right, let's go thumb to little finger there at the end and go all the way down the line, one by one. Just like that, and like that. Let's bring it all the way back. Lots of little muscles in here, lots of little things going on in the hand. So each time I'm doing this, I'm making it like maximum tension, if you can kind of like relate to what I'm saying. I'm not just like, you know, I'm actually like really creating some tension there. I don't know why my other hand is moving too. Let's do one more down the line, and then we will address the other hand. Okay, good. So it should feel nice and loose, nice and loose. We'll do a fist here, grab about, about where the wrist is. We'll go down, open it up, fist, down. This is one of the many things we can do with the wrist, just like the ankle. The wrist can go side to side too, but for today we're just doing this little up and down thing. Many, many, many things you can do. Work on whatever maybe needs to be addressed for you on particular days, We're gonna hit up a little bit of neck things next, which is like pretty common. So the biggest things I hear from people are usually neck, knees, hips, and shoulders, I guess, yeah. Okay, let's go thumb to fingertips, bring it down. One by one. This is an easy one you can do just sitting anytime. I do a lot of gripping dumbbells and barbells and all that kind of stuff, so it feels great to kind of work on. Take the time, dedicate the time, right? That's what it's all about, building it into your schedule, 5-minute mobility breaks, whatever it might be. You gotta make it work for you. Don't make an unrealistic goal of, hey, I'm gonna do 50 minutes of mobility a day if you're doing nothing right now. That doesn't make any sense. A couple minutes here and there is gonna pay off huge. Let's do one more down the line here. And then let's get in the neck a little bit, okay? So we'll kind of loosen up a little bit. Let's go up with the shoulders, back and down. Just a little up, back, down. So like I was saying, when you're having like knee pain or something like that, and how it's really good to address the feet and the ankles. So it's the same thing here with the shoulders and the neck. If you're having a lot of neck pain, maybe it's time to address the shoulders a little bit, the upper back, things like that. It's not just, oh, I have a bad neck. It's hurting, your body's always telling you something for a reason. All right, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my right hand, I'm gonna place it right about there. So that's a nice little test too. What's that look like for you? What's that feeling like, Are you able to reach that mid-back, upper mid-back? Okay, so that's what I got going on. I got my right hand up top. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my head, I'm gonna look to my left, so away from my arm. So that is step one. Step two, look down at the shoulder. Oh yeah, that's nice. So what you should feel is on the right side of your neck, right side of your upper back, those tissues are waking up a little bit. So we can hold this as a static stretch, or we can reset it right back to the start, which is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do about 5 or 6. Look over and down. Hold it for about a second. So I'm kind of splitting this up into 2 things, over, down. Each time, it's feeling a little bit better. Over, down. Ooh, yeah. Tight. Loosening up though. Perfect. Addressing that side a little bit more, let's take our left hand and put it on that right ear. And we're just gonna gently pull over to the side, super, super gently here, obviously. More through the side of the neck. We'll do a couple. Bring it back to the start. Gently grab it again. Already it feels like it's going a little further. We'll do a couple of these. Perfect. Okay, let's reset this whole thing. We're gonna go with the left hand on that mid-back, right there. And I'll be looking to my right side this time. I will look to the right and then I will look down. And you're gonna have probably one side that feels a little bit better than the other side. This side, I don't know, it kind of feels a little bit better than the other side. It's hard to tell. A little bit tight today everywhere, so. Could be different day to day, right? Depending on what you're doing in your life. Let's try one more. Over and down, all through there. All right, let's do the same thing we did on the other side. We'll kind of grab the ear a little bit and just tip it over, bring it back. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So kind of fun when I'm doing this one too. Pull it over. I'm kind of pulling the shoulder like down, if that makes sense to you. If you can kind of like pull it down, away, away, separate the two, you know? Because they want to be like this. They want to just touch. But get them apart from each other. Let's do one more of those, and then I got one more neck thing for you, and then I'm going to cut this off because I've given you a lot of things to work on. Okay, taking the chin up to the sky. Find where like your clavicle is in here. Okay, grab onto that, up to the sky. Pull down. You can look to the side, do a little rotating side to side. Seems like a weird thing to do, but take your jaw and put it out, move it side to side. It's all connected. So the purpose of this whole up and side to side stuff, we spend a lot of time looking down. The back of our neck is very stretched out, I guess you could say. The front of our neck is not. So just like we looked down and over, you can look up and over. You can look straight up. All good, all good. Play around with that stuff. I'm gonna leave you with all that stuff today. Work on it, let me know how it goes. I can make mobility a regular series if you want. You know, I've been throwing on a lot of workouts lately, but I'm more than happy to make mobility a regular series. So I like these kind of 30-minute mobility series things. I think they're quick and effective. So let me know what you want to see, if there's any specific moves that you want me to kind of like zone in a little bit more on, or throw you new things for shoulders, hips, that kind of thing. All right, take it easy. Have a great day.